Hey everybody, this is Efti with Close, and in today's video we're going to talk about how to take great sales notes and how writing great sales notes or call notes would enable you and your entire team to perform better and close more deals at the end of the day. So first of all, I know if you're a salesperson, you hate taking notes. You hate any kind of manual data entry, and believe me, there's nobody out there that understands that and empathizes with that more than me, right? So I totally get that taking notes while you're talking to somebody or afterwards is not your favorite pastime. But I want to give you some advice on why you need to create the discipline to do this well, and how, if you do it well, it's not going to take you that much time. And in the long run, it's going to save you, your sales manager, and your sales team a ton of time, right? So the reason to write good notes is that if you don't, after the call happened and you might have to do another call and a meeting and a few other things, you won't retain most of the information that happened during that call. You might miss or forget a really crucial point. They're not just right after, especially if you have a follow-up call, let's say in 2, 3, 4 weeks scheduled, and you go back to looking at that customer data or the prospect data, and you have to now memorize what the hell was said 4 weeks ago. It's going to make you waste a ton of time and energy. It's going to make you unprepared for the call. You might be repetitive and say the same things. You might ask questions that will frustrate your prospect. We spend so much time, getting all the right information about our customers, using big data and social media and all kinds of sources of data to be better informed and to have better conversations. And then when we talk to people, right, and they give us information voluntarily, life, based on our questions, the best kind of information that's out there, we're not going to take the 1 to 2 minutes to write down the most important things, to remember them forever, and to utilize them to close the deal and build the relationship. That's just lazy, it's stupid, it's crazy, and it's going to create a lot of frustration if you have a sales manager or if you have other salespeople in a sales team that works with you. Maybe you're an SDR and you have to pass on some stuff to the account executives. Maybe you're an account executive and you pass a customer over to the success team. And no matter where you are as a salesperson, there's going to be a sales manager that's going to be looking over your shoulder and once in a while want to figure out what happened in this call, in this meeting. If you write bad notes about the meeting or the call, it's just going to create friction, frustration. It's going to take and cost you a lot more time, a lot more money down the line. So here is a list of the biggest bad ways to take notes. And I'm going to give you a framework on how to take great notes and not have to spend too much time on it. All right. I know this topic is not sexy. I know you want to stop the video right now, but just trust me. Give me another 2, 3 minutes and you'll realize why this was worth your while. So here are the major mistakes that I've seen over a decade of being a sales manager, a salesperson, a sales leader. People, like, the worst thing you can do is you write no notes whatsoever. Now, actually, I'll revise my opinion. That's the second worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is you write too many notes, right? Now, this might be surprising to you, but when you write sales call notes, it is not a transcription of the entire conversation. Think about this. Some people are so nuts. They'll have a 60-minute call and then they'll transcribe the entire call almost word for word. This is going to be like 30 pages of content. Now, here's why that's so terrible. Number one, that's not your job, and that hour of note-taking that you had to spend was an hour you didn't have conversation, didn't invest in relationships with your customers and prospects. That's just nuts. Number two, it's so overwhelming that you won't be able, 4 weeks from now when you have a second call, to read through 20 pages before you jump on a call. Otherwise, you're just going to be able to acquire 1 customer per year, right? If you have to invest that much time every time you interact with them. And number three, anybody else on your team or your sales manager that want to quickly understand what happened in that call will not be able to do that. You're overwhelming people and yourself with information that is irrelevant and useless. So you wasted your time and your energy on things that aren't useful. That's the worst thing to do. Second worst thing to do is you take no notes. Now, the good thing about that, where I give you props, is you spend no time or energy on it. That's good. But the problem is that down the line in the follow-up and follow-through, you're going to have to spend double the energy and time to figure out and re-research and re-remember what the hell did we agree and talk about last time. And you're going to probably repeat parts of your calls and conversations with the customer because you just don't remember crucial details of the conversation, right? So taking too many notes and taking no notes, those are massive mistakes that I see. The other ones are that you write only for yourself in some cryptic way, right? You write notes that no other human being would ever understand. Sometimes you write in a way where you yourself, as you change and evolve, 3 months from now, when you look at those notes, you're like, I have no idea what this means. Like, I've seen this so many times with salespeople. They'll look at their own fucking call notes and they'll go, I too, like I'll ping them and go, I don't understand what you wrote here. I'm talking to the customer tomorrow. This was the last conversation we had with them. Can you please repeat this or tell me what this means? And then they'll look at it and they'll go, honestly, Sally, I have no idea either what this means. All right? What the fuck? What the fuck? So don't write things that only you yourself at that very moment can understand. Write in a way that anybody on earth could read the notes and understand what was going on. The other thing that happens, the other big mistake is that people don't finish their notes, right? So you start writing notes, and usually is like this massive decline where they start off super strong, super detailed oriented, and then it gets less and less detail oriented, and then it just ends in the middle of a sentence. They run out of steam, right? So, as they get more and more engaged and involved in the conversation, at the end, they don't know how to finish the notes. They say, well, I'll come back to this later, and later becomes never, and they forget about it. And here you go. You look at the notes, and you know exactly what happened in the first 5 minutes of the conversation. You have no fucking clue what happened in the rest of the 55 minutes, probably the more important minutes of the conversation, right? What a shame. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to write great notes and how to do this in very little time. Call notes are not a transcription. Keep it brief and keep it very, very focused. Summarize what happened in the conversation and what were the main takeaways, insights, and action items. That's all you have to accomplish. You don't have to write a fucking book. It doesn't have to be pages and pages long. It doesn't have to include everything that was said. Only the most important, most actionable, most insightful things that were said. The things you will need, your sales team will need, and your sales manager and leadership will need in the future. That's it, right? It's very, very easy. Figure out what is the summary of what was accomplished in this conversation, right? Did you give a demo? Did you show them specific parts of the product? Did you discuss pricing? Did they bring up, their buying cycle? Were timelines disclosed and discussed, right? And what were the action items? What were the promises? What were the things that would happen next, that you and the prospect agreed to happen next, and by when, right? If there's any things that, after the conversation you realize need to happen, in the next call or next conversation, you could write little tips. You could say, for next meeting, notes for next call, ask this, bring up that, use this piece of information, whatever it is, right? And so to do this, it doesn't take that much time. You just need to be mindful and thoughtful. Here's the deal. Everybody has a different style. Some people love to take notes while they're on the call. Some people, and they write it down kind of digitally on their computer. Some people love and are quicker when they have a call, taking notes on a piece of paper, and then they transcribe a summary of that on their computer in their CRM system like Close. Some people don't like to write anything during the conversation, and when the conversation ends, they are smart enough and know themselves enough to give themselves 5 to 10 minutes space between one and the other call, and then they write the summary. They step back, they think through what was everything was discussed, what are the most important things, they write down the notes. Some people will, build this framework and automate it where they send the call recordings to some transcriber that listens to the entire conversation, and then they'll send the transcription to somebody that writes the key takeaways and the summary of it, right? That might cost you a lot of money, but for some people it might be worth it, right? Your time might be worth that investment. Whatever your hack, whatever your rhythm, whatever your preferences are, learn and get to know yourself, know thyself, and the best way for you is to do this. But I would say that a 60-minute call, it shouldn't take you longer than 5 focused minutes. Now, that means no emails in between, no Instagramming, no Facebooking, no texting, no reading a blog post, no getting distracted, no looking at your calendar. 5 minutes maximum. In most cases, 2 minutes will be more than enough, 2 to 3 minutes. 5 minutes or less after the call, focused to write amazing notes, notes that will help you close the deal in the future, that will help your sales team perform better in the future, and that will help your sales manager love you, support you better, understand exactly how to be utilized, how to be a resource to you, and what they can do to help you close deals and do better. And that's all it takes. Good basics. It's the basics that win the game at the end of the day. It's being consistent, and persistent with the basics, the fundamentals. And taking good meeting notes is a fundamental skill that's important today, will be important 10 years from now, was important 10 years ago. So get into that habit and into that skill, and I guarantee you'll see amazing results. That's it for me. If you have not done this yet, make sure to go to blog.close.com. If you have any questions, always happy to hear from you. Stelly@close.com. Looking forward to hear from you. And let's take better sales call notes in the future. Let's make the world a better place with better call notes.